like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep.
Series doesn't start until the road team wins. So I guess the series started in game 1. But sometimes in these playoffs, it almost feels like the series doesn't start until the home team wins. Either way, the series has started, and we are going back, as the Jackson 5 once said, going back to Indiana. That's where they're from, Gary, Indiana. It's a song. Good one. Tied at 1 apiece. Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Interesting stuff. The golf went 4 extra holes with the New Zealand soccer team cheering on the winner. Go Foxy! Hoops is even. Hockey's good. I mean, what is up? It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. You found us on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. How you living?
What it do?
Everything good? Missed you on Friday. I was in the basement. Gato Roberto was in. It was an interesting day. You had life to deal with.
Home ownership, right? It's it was a crazy last 3 days, but the weekend was phenomenal.
As anybody who's ever owned a home knows that when you have like an emergency at the home, it does not happen on a Tuesday afternoon at noon. It happens on the weekend or a Friday night, or when it's considered to be off hours for the professionals to come in and take care of it. But I'm glad everybody's good, and everybody's safe, and you're back up and running, and we're able to shower.
Yes. always the bonus.
Yeah. All right. Last night, this was predictable. Will you give me my flowers? Did I?
Oh, your game 1 flowers.
Did I call? Did I call the Pacers? I don't know. And I told you I don't believe Oklahoma City's going to lose this series. I do believe they will win the series, but I think I told you on Thursday before game 1. Well, I know I did, because it's on tape, that I didn't think Indiana was going to get swept, and I thought that the game 1 was the perfect game for them to win. I just thought they were too good to get swept, and I thought they were sick and tired of listening to everybody talk about how bad they were and how they don't belong and how they were the biggest underdog, and it just felt like game 1 was the right one, and they got it. It took heroics. It took a bit of a meltdown in game 1 from the Thunder a little bit, but certainly a comeback. But it's predictable, and I don't think that was predictable. I thought what happened last night was relatively predictable. Oklahoma City was not going to get beat twice at home. They certainly weren't going to let up when they were up big at halftime. Up big because of the 19-2 run that they used in the second quarter, and the final score was 123-107. We're even headed back to Indiana. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 34-5-5. They're a complete club. I do believe they will be your NBA champions. Indiana may win another game somewhere along the line here in the next couple. But that was what I think everybody expected was last night.
Yeah, making life on Halliburton tough all night long. And the Pacers have had an incredible postseason run, but when you take that next step up, which is Oklahoma City with what they have offensively and defensively, like, you're not going to win a series playing from behind every single game.
You can't.
Like, you're not going to overcome double-digit deficits every single game. And I expect OKC to be in the better position. And so you're looking early game 3. Can now Tyrese Halliburton really get going offensively, which then allows him to set up his teammates a close game, because double digits in the second half, that's how another series is going to easily go to OKC.
I think the whole, and they're doing it the right way. I firmly believe it. First of all, Oklahoma City is statistically the best team defensively in the National Basketball Association. And I think eyes test, they're as good as anybody there is in the NBA playing defense. They force turnovers. They make things tough. And they are going to make it tough on your star. And in a team like Indiana, where you can find it on different nights, right? And Matherin will give you something one night. Siakam usually does. Sometimes you'll get something from Nesmith. Sometimes you won't. The answer is going to be somebody else has to beat me. And they are making it as miserable as they can on Tyrese Halliburton. And they're doing a hell of a job. Now, Hallie hit the big shot, but it's not like he went off in game 1. It's not like he had a bonkers game. I think he had 14 points, if I'm not mistaken. He hit the game winner. But Indiana is going to have to fight for everything they get, because Oklahoma City, is really, really physical and aggressive defensively. And the key is make somebody else beat me. And last night, Tyrese Halliburton led you with 17 points. You got 16 out of Miles Turner. Like, all your starters had double digits, but 17, 15, 16, 14, 11 didn't get to do it. And you got, and a lot of it was in garbage time too. This was Oklahoma City, and I love what they're doing defensively. Alex Caruso came off the bench for 20. Aaron Wiggins had 18 points off the bench for Oklahoma City, so they're getting tons of points off the bench, tons of production off the bench, and they got the MVP who played like the MVP, and they look like that team.
That's the biggest difference to me. Now, the depth is there, but Alex Caruso is essentially their sixth starter, because you look at 2 of the starters had 7 points, so it really wasn't like a game where, oh my gosh, the bench saved. And the bench did what 2 starters couldn't do.
Well, and he does this on a regular basis.
But it's changing the starting lineup. Hartenstein coming off the bench, Wallace going in. So we're actually seeing him go a little bit deeper in this game. Now, of course, the fourth quarter lineups are a little bit different, but to see Wiggins step up, because you know what you're getting night in and night out for Caruso. So it's kind of like, all right, who's going to be that extra boost? And it was Aaron Wiggins, because Shea Gilgeous-Alexander essentially locked in at 30 points every night, and that's what has allowed him to win MVP. He's that guy that night in and night out, there's not going to be something that keeps him off the score.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think that's right. And when it's all said and done, he's going to show you why he is that guy, and he's been that guy. And he'll end up being the finals MVP and get Supermax and put him in the conversation for best player in the game.
It's a special season that get NBA MVP and keeps this up. He's absolutely going to be the NBA Finals MVP. And, this Thunder's team, despite the national narrative of just wanting to talk down this series, this is going to be one that you have to rate and go, okay, we need to have them on the back end of some of the best teams ever in a single season.
Yeah, I'm a little calm on that, but the numbers tell you that, and so I understand it. I'm a little calm on they're going to be the next dynasty conversation. I
Not
guess,
there. But.
No, but that's been a big conversation too, that I'm like, shouldn't they win one before we start?
But
I
quickly it turned on Boston.
100%. Now, weren't we there 2 years ago with Denver too, right? Every team who's won, well, can they win? Oh, they're built to win. And I get it with the contracts and how good Sam Presti's been, the general manager, in assembling the team and what he's been able to do with contracts and salary and fit and with Mark Dagnall. I get where you're looking at it. I understand the construct. I understand how, as you project out X number of years, you can they win one before we start talking about a freaking dynasty? And that'll be the talk next week after they win this thing. And I get it. I'm just, boy, I'm a little tepid on that, and I hope you'll understand that because I'm just.
Yeah, I think that talking about who they are in this one season, because I think they're going to be the champions.
Yes.
I don't see how Indiana can win this series playing from behind every single night, trying to overcome double-digit deficits, which feels like OKC can put the Pacers in that hole. So single season, the Thunder are in a very special conversation. But the dynasty stuff, yeah, there's going to be 7 champs in 7 years.
Yeah. No, I think that. Well, obviously that's right.
It's incredibly hard to do, and I like that aspect, even though
I
it's
do too.
kind of all over the place. And Adam Silver saying this is what they wanted the league to grow into, is teams competing, franchises putting effort into putting winners on the floor versus the ratings, they're down. Okay, but I think
Are they down? I
Yeah,
haven't even seen the numbers.
they're down. I think it was 18% from game 1 of last year,
All right.
which was
Which was
Celtics
Boston,
and Mavericks.
Boston,
So,
Dallas.
yeah,
We had
Boston
two big
has the buzz, but
Well, you had
again,
two big markets.
and I think the problem is, even going into the series, all you have is all the important talking heads, the national talking heads. That's their thing. Oh, if no one's going to like this, well, why? Oh, well, because you're telling them not to like it.
Well, okay. I got a taste of it this weekend. First of all, I'm going to tell you the basketball that you're watching in this series is just as good as you had. Who Denver beat? Boston? You had Denver, Boston, and you had Boston and Dallas last year.
Denver beat the Heat.
Denver beat the Heat.
In the
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's right. I forgot that. All right, this basketball, like what you're watching with Oklahoma City, is just as good. I was in LA this weekend. I was in Southern California and flipped over. I didn't get a ton of NBA Finals talk, dude. They got 2 NBA teams in that town. Now maybe it was. Well, I was thinking Friday too. Yeah, I mean there was a little, way more Dodger talk, right? Kershaw pitched yesterday. Dodgers play the Padres today, starting in a series. It was a little bit, but to your point, why aren't people interested? Because I think you're right. You're telling them don't be interested. Give me a better team in Oklahoma City. Go ahead. Like tell me how much better the Knicks are. Like it would have been better if the Knicks were playing instead, or the Lakers would have been playing instead of Oklahoma City, or the Knicks instead of the Pacers. Knicks handled the Pacers, didn't they? Nope, they didn't. Nope. Pacers came out and beat them. This is pretty good. And if you enjoy the hoops, and I'd like to see a few more really tight games like the game 1 was. I'd like to see them go down. That's good for you. And this could be
when it's a blowout, you're going to tune out.
Yeah.
You get it.
All right, we got a lot to do today. A lot of NBA stuff. We're getting closer and closer to camps opening up in football. There's a conversation about a running back who at one point was considered one of the best in the league. Where's he going to sign? Aaron Rodgers is signed. Was he their first choice, second choice, fifth choice? Where was he on the list? Locally over the weekend, United and Colorado Springs played to a draw. We'll get there. The French Open final was historic. The house settlement is now settled. And coming up at 9:30, we're going to have a conversation with Steve Loy. The facilities, the stadium, the arena at Eastern New Mexico University are named after Steve Loy. He's going into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame coming up here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to catch up with Steve Loy, who went into an incredible sports management career, managed the career of many, many athletes, including Phil Mickelson. I'm really looking forward to catching up with Steve because he's fascinating. So we'll do that coming up at 9:30. The phone number to get in today is 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animals phone line. It is our text line as well. Emails come in as they do regularly. Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. On the Twitter, it's _JJ Buck. That would be the X as well because there is no more Twitter, but you still tweet on X. I believe you still tweet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Adrian's producing. You can watch our show. We're on ProView Networks on Comcast or Xfinity Channel 26. Our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, and the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. When we get back, there's some other NBA stuff you got to hit. Another big voice in the Mavericks. They're never going to get over the Luka trade. I don't care how many Cooper flags they get. They're never going to get over the Luka trade. And how done were the Knicks with Tom Thibodeau? Sounds like this wasn't just like a spur-of-the-moment thing, so we'll get there as well. Hey, you're running around, you're driving around your car. How's it look? I know. Mine too. I told you I was going to be out of town. Now it's time. On the Spot Automotive Detailing is going to come out and take care of that for you. Give them a call or just book online. On the Spot Automotive Detailing comes to you, and they bring their service to you. You don't drive it somewhere, drop it somewhere, sit in a waiting room for hours because you don't have the time. I don't have the time. They get it. They bring it to the office. They bring it to the house. And whilst you are working and doing your life, they're outside detailing your vehicle. It's the best in the city. They were awarded best in the city because they're best in the city. Detailing is that new car clean, that inside, outside, around the hood, under the rims, under the seats, all those places you don't get. And when they're done, you have that new car feel, and you didn't spend that new car money. They'll also talk to them about the paint protection film, ceramic coating, to protect your paint's shine and keep it from all the elements all year long. It's a great, great, great gift as well if you're looking for that. Book and buy. It's all online. It's on the Spot Automotive Detailing. It's at otsdetailing.com. That will be otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom. Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King. And now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing.
Best Sportsbook.
OD in your AM. Happy Monday, Jeff Symbieta, JJ. Buck, thank you for finding us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Thunder over the Pacers last night, 123-107. It is a 1-1 series, and it is headed back to Indiana. The hockey, you get it tonight. It'll be Edmonton and Florida, 2 overtime games north of the border. We are even. That series is delivering, by the way. And I'm not going to tell you like I do every year. You got to watch. You don't have to do anything. But it's a hell of a watch, man.
OT, then double OT?
Yeah.
A lot of hockey.
And it's so good and so skilled and so fun and so intense and so terrific. If that's your thing, probably kind of like the French Open was. You know, like if the tennis is your thing and you sat around for 4.5 hours and watched Carlos Alcaraz beat Yannick Skinner yesterday, 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, and 7-6 in the longest French Open final ever. It was a thriller. Alcaraz drops the first 2, comes back and wins the last 3, 7-6 in the third or in the fifth. And it was a thriller, man. 5 hours, 29 minutes, the longest French Open men's final ever in the Open era anyway. Second longest men's Grand Slam final ever. I mean, if you had 5.5 hours to sit around and watch that, God bless you. And if you just caught the end of it, I mean, it was something. If you caught the golf, they played 4 extra holes yesterday. Sam Burns and Ryan Fox. Ryan Fox won it after Burnsy 3-jacked at 18. They played at 18th hole like 15, 16, 18, 20. I'm kidding, 5 times.
Did they move the whole location?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Well, because they played it in regulation, then they played it 2 or 3 times. I guess 3 times.
Like someone get the bucket.
Yeah, no, the dude came out and everybody's fascinated watching a guy punch a hole and fill a hole. And yeah. And then Foxy won it. And he's from New Zealand, and it just so happened the New Zealand national soccer team was in town for a tournament there, and they'd beat Ivory Coast the night before, and they were all fired up for their dude. Yeah, that was good. That was a good watch as well. All right, Don Nelson. Some of you will remember Don Nelson is a terrific coach of the Dallas Mavericks, amongst other teams. He was presented the Chuck Daly Lifetime Award during Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Coached the Dallas Mavericks from 97 to 2005. He's the latest to rail on the Mavericks for trading Luka Doncic, called it a mistake. Quote, Luka is my dear friend. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing Luka's shoes, his new shoes from Nike. Just got on the market, and I'm wearing them in protest of the trade from Dallas. I think it was a tremendous mistake by the Dallas franchise to trade him, and I want everyone to know that. My philosophy was always, when you've got a great player, he's yours for a lifetime. You don't get rid of players. When that happened, I was pretty disappointed. My philosophy was always to honor the great players, not trade them away, end quote. And Nico Harrison says, so please stop. Just everybody piling on.
Nico Harrison's like, Cooper Flag.
Yeah, but it had nothing to do with
Flag.
it. You didn't get Cooper Flag because you traded. Well, although if you keep Luka Doncic, are you then not in? I guess you could make that argument. We'd have kept Luka Doncic, we probably wouldn't have been in the lottery, and we're not.
No, they would have still been in the lottery because they would have been a playing team.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know that. We don't know where they would have played to. Right? They were a playing team, weren't they?
Yeah, but I don't think they were getting top 6, even with Luka. But you never know. But
so only the top 6 are out of the lottery? Playing teams? Don't the playing teams?
8. If you make it in.
If you get in, then you're not in the lottery, right?
Yeah. 16 lottery.
But that's the latest. Just keep piling on.
And Nelson, you look at his success, what he meant to that franchise with scouting, especially in the later years of his work with the Mavericks, and working on a player like Luka Doncic, and the success he had with Dirk Nowitzki. So I'm sure that he just was like, hey, this is Dirk 2.0 for us.
100%. No, 100%. And that's what I think most people affiliated and certainly the fans of the Dallas Mavericks thought. I mean, you talk to Maverick fan and they are just choked. I don't know if Dirk Nowitzki is, and I'm not a big Mount Rushmore guy, right? And I know the show before us is kind of doing their Mount Rushmore, but they're calling it something else of every city's sports, who's your top 4 people. But if you did Dallas sports, and it would be littered with Cowboys, right? Whether it's Staubach or Aikman or Dorsett or whomever. But I got to believe there'd be a good push for Dirk Nowitzki in Dallas sports. Won a championship. In fact, until the Rangers won, when the Rangers won, 2 years ago? Nobody outside of the Cowboys had won a championship, right? The Stars have never won.
And they just relieved their head coach of his coaching duties
after getting to three
straight Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
Yeah. But the Stars had never won. The Rangers, until 2 years ago, had never won. The Mavericks won, and the Cowboys haven't won in, 30 years? Like in Dallas sports, when the Mavericks won that championship, beat LeBron and the Heat. That was the Heatles back in the day. And Dirk was the dude. Like, I would argue that Dirk probably is one of the 4 most popular athletes in the history of Dallas professional sports. You think I'm out of my mind with that? I mean, I know
I don't think you're out of
just
your mind.
automatically go to the Cowboys, but especially for the generation that doesn't remember the Cowboys ever winning a championship, which is a significant generation considering it's been 30 years, 28 years, whatever the number is. So, yes, they thought that they had the new Dirk, and they're still pissed. All right, meanwhile, after you just mentioned the Stars firing their head coach, Peter DeBoer, after going to 3 straight Western Conference Finals. Of course, the Knicks fired their coach, Tom Thibodeau, after going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Vincent Goodwell writes for Yahoo Sports, said that Tom Thibodeau's firing was spearheaded by the owner, which I think we all assumed this. James Dolan is the owner. Dolan and their team president, Leon Rose, had exit meetings with key Knicks players. And evidently the complaints from the players were pretty clear. A couple of players felt like Tibbs played the starters too many minutes, that he had an inability to adjust. And sources were telling Yahoo that another player said that he didn't feel like he could play for Thibodeau if Tibbs returned next season. Evidently, Mikal Bridges openly complained about playing too many minutes. And that's when it all went sideways. So it was the players who, according to this report, turned on Tibbs, and they were done playing too many damn minutes, and they complained to the owner, and the owner's like, all right, I'll hear you. I got to go do something different. It's interesting.
I just can't wrap my head around that.
In what way?
Like, yeah, Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart were the top 2 players in the NBA minutes played.
Okay.
The 2 players from the New York Knicks.
Yep.
Don't you want to play basketball? You're getting paid to play basketball. You
Yeah,
want
but
to be
not
on the
that-
floor.
but not that
Okay,
much
so we're going to
basketball.
start crying that Anthony Edwards played 15 less minutes the entire season. Josh Hart. He's not complaining.
Look.
Like, do you want to be an NBA starter or not? Everyone complains they don't get shot. Everyone complains they don't get minutes. And you have a coach that says, hey, the starters are our best opportunity. We got you these conference finals, and got a bunch of dudes complaining they don't want to play basketball.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of where it is. I don't want to play this much basketball. 100%. Yeah, it's exactly where it is. That's
crazy.
So bring me in a coach that's going to play the bench more. Yeah.
Can't wait till the next head coach plays me less.
But that's where this is. All right, 505-246-0610. We're going to get into the House settlement today as well. When we get back, a little NFL for you. Running back that, I don't know, maybe you drafted first overall, maybe first round in your fantasy draft, up maybe as recent as last year. Changing spots, Aaron Rodgers for a year. How'd that go down, and how is it being received over the weekend in Pittsburgh? 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by Malloy.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come.
All right, you're starting your fantasy football prep. I know you are. Keep getting the, hey, so what should I do here? I haven't hit JJ with that yet. Hey, who should I keep yet? I'm probably going to do what I got to do anyway. Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb at some point was considered one of the top 5 running backs in the league, right? A lot of injuries. He's been with Cleveland. He's expected to sign with the Texans today. He's got to pass a physical. Ian Rappaport's reporting that on the NFL Network. He's probably one of the best available players left on the market. and he'll be back in the AFC. It became increasingly unlikely that he was going to sign with the Browns. So that pair him with Joe Mixon, and you got another 4-time Pro Bowler in the backfield, and it's a pretty nice, assuming they stay healthy. And this is a dude that's really struggled to stay healthy. But I mean, I don't know. Am I just living in the past? Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb feels really, really good to me.
You're living in the past of Nick Chubb, but this is a solid spot for a 29-year-old running back that suffered 2 major knee injuries in his career to be a backup, maybe a game or 2 guy if Mixon misses some time.
All right, fair enough. I mean, he's going to give you, so he's a 600-yard back that, probably scores you 7 touchdowns, gets you some short yardage work, assuming he stays healthy. Right?
That'd be a big number.
Which number? Both of them?
The 7 touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean, but he's a short yardage back. I think he probably
hurts Joe Mixon then.
Yeah, no, that's right. 100% it does. If in fact he's your guy. Aaron Rodgers signed, and you and I didn't get to talk about this. There's zero surprise. I think we all absolutely expected this. Although when it's Aaron Rodgers, you can't say 100% on anything. Evidently, he was like pick number 3 for them. They wanted Matthew Stafford. Rams are like, yeah, no, you got nothing. We're no. And then I guess they wanted to sign Justin Fields. And that didn't go down. And it's really interesting because Justin Fields went to the Jets, who said, yeah, we don't want Aaron Rodgers. So is Justin Fields right now viewed as more desirable of a quarterback by 2 franchises than, and the answer is yes, than Aaron Rodgers is?
Yeah. It's you're not getting any drama with Justin Fields.
No, but are you getting production?
You're hoping that, as you saw with 4-2 start.
Yeah, I like him too.
Fields. And I think if you're a team like the New York Jets, where you were resetting, new head coach, coming in there realizing that, hey, if Justin Fields keeps you competitive, fantastic, but this isn't necessarily a long-term play, and you'd rather have that there than any attitude of Aaron Rodgers, the first-year head coach?
Yes, I think is the answer. Oops, sorry. Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Edwards?
Is that an actual mic drop?
Yeah, that was a drop for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. If your football organization is prioritizing Justin Fields, whether it be over Rodgers or not, you're going to be in for a long season. I'm just going to state that. But I understand the logic in this instance. I understand, right? But in general, if you're prioritizing Justin Fields, it's going to be a long year for your team. The NBA Finals, Jeff, you eloquently and accurately, painfully accurately stated that that they would steal Game 1. Indy would steal Game 1 with an emphasis on steal.
And they did.
In life and in sports, I highly value consistency, right? I tell people, hey, if you're going to be cool, be cool. If you're going to be a jerk, but just be consistent. Therefore, we can kind of predict how to interact with you, right? It's very applicable in life. We've watched 96 minutes of basketball in 2 games, and for 93 of those 96 minutes, OKC is not dominated but thoroughly handled in Indiana. If they wouldn't have completely fell asleep in Game 1, the last 3 or 4 minutes with a 14-point lead, then we'd be on our way to probably what I predicted, a 5-game series, maybe even a sweep. But I do think because they fell asleep in Game 1, we may see 6, maybe even 7 games, right? Things can happen, right? This playoff series, this playoff year, Halliburton he's hit some iconic, memorable shots, and full credit. It's really been fun to watch. And then there's been some commentary around, hey, let me say this. Rising stars don't get locked down by guys named Dort in the NBA playoffs.
Dort can play.
Right. I'm just going to state this. Here's the consistency. In Game 1, Halliburton went into the fourth quarter with 6 points, right? And then he hit the game winner, and he finished, I think, overall with 14 points, which credit to him, right? I think he was 6 for 13 from the field. And then in Game 2, he went into the fourth quarter with 5 points, right? and I think he ended up with 17. He scored 12 points when the game was essentially over. This isn't an indictment or a referendum on Halliburton, but what is painfully evident to me is he can't create a shot in the half-court offense. Most of his points come in transition or off rebounds, kickouts, right? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. He's a really good player. But I just think it's very evident to me in 96 minutes of play that that defensive effort led by Dort and other double teams where he's struggling, he can't create his own shot in the half court. Contrarily, SGA can get to the basket anytime he wants, right? And they call him the free throw merchant. I think in game one he shot 8 free throws, put up 38 points. And then last night I think he shot 12 free throws and put up 34 points. So he's averaging 36 points in the series over a 2-game, data set. But I think Game 3 is going to be very telling. I think we're going to get a close game in Game 3 or Game 4, and I'm going to stick to my prediction that it's going to be a 5-game series. And I don't think that that OKC, I don't think they value every possession. I think they're loose, and that's how they play. And I don't even think that we've seen their best games yet, right? I just don't.
Be who you are.
And
Be who you are.
And in Game 1, Toppin, not every day is Christmas, right? You're not going to hit 5 threes every game, and the other guys step up. But I do think there's going to be a leveling in this series, and I would expect more comfortable wins from OKC. And, but it's been entertaining. It's been fun to watch. I know ratings are down, but it has been fun. Anyway, thought I'd share that with you. Guys, thanks for taking my few takes there.
Appreciate you. What do you think about that? So I don't think he's wrong that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is better at getting his own shot than Tyrese Halliburton. The better creator. One guy's the MVP. One guy hits big shots. I don't know that I think that's going to change. Halliburton's good. I think there's a difference. If you're going to ask me who do I want to start my franchise, it's SGA. But Halliburton has risen and proven himself in big moments. And until someone else helps him out, they're going to continue to focus on him on defense and make it really, really tough on him.
Yeah, that's a breakdown that shows the difference in the offensive ceilings for these players. Halliburton is more of your traditional. He does really good setting things up across the board. The big shots have been unbelievable, but SGA is the guy that you can give him the ball, get out of the way, get a bucket. Oh, and then by the way, things come off of that, and that's what has made OKC so impressive. Is what they've been able to do with the best players on offense. How Jokic, and it was such a tough series, and he still had crazy numbers, but that took them to 7 games, and Jokic had to have 40-point games to get it done.
All right, 505-246-0610. You can keep coming in on the hoops last night. Are you watching it? Do you care about it? 8 o'clock, we'll get into the house settlement. And I think we're all still trying to figure out what it means and how it's going to work. And Fernando Lobo is going to come in, I know, sometime soon, and we're going to talk about that with the athletic director at UNM and how they're going to utilize the house settlement. But we'll get into it. What happened over the weekend, what it means, because I know you've heard it coming. Still nothing out of the Mountain West Pac-12 mediation, which is now into its 4th week of mediation, which I don't know that I think it's unprecedented, but you could legal people can tell me how long mediations usually go, but I don't think it's this long. Hey, looking for an engagement ring? You in the market for one? You thinking, I don't know, any jewelry? Go by and see my jeweler. John Thomas Jewelers is my jewelry store. They were my jeweler the minute I walked in the door, and then John kind of showed me around. Took me back to the state-of-the-art custom design center that they have right there on premises where they can make anything you want. Like right now, they have over 3,000 bridal rings, men's and women's, on hand. You can try them on. And if you don't find exactly what it is you want, they'll make it for you. And they do it right there. They don't send it out of state to get it done. They got a 1-year exchange policy on engagement rings. So if it's not exactly right, it didn't work out the right way, you can exchange it within a year. And they offer the only free lifetime nationwide warranty in Albuquerque on all their jewelry. So whether it's engagement ring shopping or an amazing anniversary gift you're looking for, just something really, really cool, maybe it's something for you, you'll find it at John Thomas Jewelers. Go by and see why they're the only 5-star Google-rated full-service jewelry store in town, why they're the fastest-growing jeweler in New Mexico and been voted best jewelry store in Albuquerque 4 straight years, even voted the coolest jewelry store in America by In-Store Magazine. So many reasons to see for yourself why John Thomas Jewelers is the best jeweler in Albuquerque. They're my jeweler. they will be yours as well. Visit them on Louisiana, 1 block south of Menaul, 3rd floor, Lewis University Building. It's at 2440 Louisiana, Suite 310. John Thomas Jewelers, where Albuquerque gets engaged.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom.
All right, you're active today. Boy, you guys are all over the place with the correspondence. The email's open, the text line's open. Emails this morning, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Deutsch says, let the excuses begin, Jeff. Why didn't you watch Live this weekend? You couldn't find the game on TV? Post time didn't fit your schedule? No, man. I was out of town. I traveled home yesterday. Chilled in the afternoon and flipped on the golf that I know is on and watched the end of the PGA Canadian Open. Didn't even think about Live. I'm not gonna lie. Why didn't I watch it? I didn't think about it. Was there Live, JJ, over the weekend? Who won?
I don't know.
Yeah. Evidently there was Live over the weekend. And I mean, somebody won. Here, Live. Joaquin Neiman won in Virginia. He was 15 under, beat Graham McDowell and Annabon Lahiri by a stroke. Yeah, that's good. Mickelson was just 2 strokes back. How about old Philly? Look at Philly Mick with the U.S. Open this week. Phil Mickelson tied for 4th. We'll talk to Steve Loy about that. His longtime manager is going to be with us. Eastern New Mexico legend and soon-to-be New Mexico Sports Hall of Famer. That'll be coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Gene says, big win by Armando's team this weekend. The Chihuahuas kept their playoff hopes alive, Jeff. In fact, Saturday night felt like a state tournament game against Albuquerque's AAA franchise at Credit Union Field. All right, thank you, Gene. Appreciate that. But we're all over the place with the emails, JJ. Dan says, why didn't Sovereignty run in the Preakness? Jeffrey and Juan Jose. Are the connections kicking themselves? As easy as he won Saturday, no reason to believe he wouldn't have done the same at Pimlico. That Triple Crown belt would have been the difference between being considered a nice horse in 2025 and all-time great. I agree with you on the back statement. The reason they said the horse wasn't ready to run and they wanted to protect the horse, and would he have won? We'll never know. We will never know. But I'm going to guess you're probably right. Are they having second thoughts about it? Yeah, they probably are. Dark day for college sports, says Mike. Jeff Lou, now that they are paid professionals, I don't think they should get scholarships anymore. If an amateur was going to wear my alma mater's uniform, they deserve a roof over their head, 3 squares, and their class is paid for. But the entire reason for scholarships is gone now. Well, scholarships will still be part of it. The House settlement is going to make sure that the players get paid, JJ, from the universities. And we're going to get into that here in a bit because I got a text on the other side. Very, very happy about it. Mean Machine says, and JJ, this goes into Tomeo Pons, the 6'8" guard from France, who announced over the weekend on social media that he's committing to play for the Lobos. He's a young man who played on the U21 team, Natarene, scored almost 15 points, international player. Mean Machine would rather that they don't fill out the roster, evidently. What do you got, 14 spots, 15 spots? Jeff, where's the playing time coming from? This weekend, news broke. I just kept shaking my head. Greg Oden is gone, signing crazy. I read it as it said. I understand his name is not Oden. There's so many minutes, only so many minutes to go around. How's he going to keep everyone happy? And the Mean Machine, the answer will once again be he won't. Do you just want him to sign 8 players? Or what? How do you think, when I get this email 3 times a year, JJ, how does he want the roster to be constructed? Just only 8 guys? And
bring in Tom Thibodeau.
A bunch of yous and me's? Like, what does he want? Should he have enough guys to scrimmage and practice? What if someone gets hurt?
Bring in Tom Thibodeau. 5 dudes that just play against themselves all season long.
Fair enough. Fair enough, I guess. Mean Machine, they're going to compete, and there's going to be about, 5 guys who almost never play, and 7 guys who get, maybe 8 guys who get a lot of minutes, and probably 2 or 3 guys who get some minutes, and it's going to be like every other basketball team that ever has been here in the history of the game, and Jack said Mets cool JJ's hot club. Yesterday I thought I was watching Albuquerque's baseball team playing at Coors. You kind of were. After sweeping the Marlins, the Rockies realized they weren't playing the Marlins anymore.
Yeah.
They got swept this weekend. I mean, that's kind of how it happens, right? Jack says, I'm not watching. Jeff, totally forgot the championship game was even on. Last night I watched a Gomer Pyle marathon. Good for you. It's cool. Watch what you want to watch, man. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know a Gomer Pyle marathon was on. So I watched the NBA championships instead. JJ, I didn't watch the Gomer Pyle marathon.
Missed that one.
I
weekend.
didn't know it was on. So you know what I did? I watched the NBA championships instead. Did you give a damn what I watched last night, by the way? I didn't watch Live. Didn't watch Gomer Pyle. No.
I think I need you to keep a log.
What everybody's watching?
Of what you watch on the weekend and sit here and talk about it for 2 hours, because apparently the people that text and email you would love it.
Maybe that's right. I didn't watch that much this weekend, dude. I mean, I was on a boat off of Balboa Island. I would watch the sunset go down in Newport Beach. I just didn't watch that much. All right, what does the house settlement mean? I'm not sure I know completely. I'm not sure you know either, but we're going to get into it a little bit. 505-246-0610. What might it mean for the University of New Mexico and New Mexico State? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Hour.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. Find it on ProView Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points?
The Sports Animal, your home for Colin Cowherd, Jim Rome, and the best in local sports talk. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, you got a series, at least theoretically you got a series. 1-1, the Thunder beat the Pacers 123-107 last night in Oklahoma. Series is tied going back to Indiana. Hockey's 1-1. They're headed down to Miami. They'll play tonight after 2 extra sessions. Well, 1 extra session and then 2 extra sessions. In Edmonton, the Oilers and the Panthers will go at each other. It's the opening drive. Happy Monday. Glad you found us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Emails coming this morning, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. You can find us on the phone or the text, 505-246-0610, 505-246-0610. And Adrian's producing the visuals. You can watch us on ProView Networks YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, or on Xfinity Channel 26. All right, JJ, this over the weekend, the House settlement was approved. And we have been talking about the House settlement for, hell, I mean, it feels like over a year, and I think it was over a year. And I got an email. No, this would be on the text line. It says, excited about Lobos Athletic Department spending being up to $53 million in FY24. It's 15% increase over FY23 and easily clears Pac-2 teams like Utah State and Colorado State. Not perfect, but going in the right direction, ready to see how Fern Lovo utilizes the House settlement. All right, a couple things. What has come from the House settlement? Players are going to get paid by the universities. There's going to be more binding deals. There's going to be back pay. The federal judge, JJ, this is the part that boggles my mind more than any of it. There is a $2.8 billion antitrust settlement that goes to back pay for student athletes back to 2016. Grant House is for whom the House settlement is more or less named, right? It's kind of like the Pavia rule. The Grant House is a former Arizona State swimmer. This all started with a swimmer at Arizona State. He sued the NCAA and the Power 5 leagues. His lawsuit, and there were 2 other lawsuits that were combined over several years, wound up with this settlement that ends this long conversation on prohibition on schools cutting checks directly to athletes. So now each school in the NCAA will be able to make payments directly to athletes for the use of their name, their image, and their likeness, NIL. So for reference, there's nearly 200,000 athletes in 350 schools in Division I alone. There's 500,000 and 1,100 schools across the entire NCAA. So we're talking about, I mean, theoretically over 500,000 athletes and a lot of schools. So how much money will the schools pay the athletes? Where will the money come from? Right? I think that's a really fair question. Where's the money coming from? In this first year, and remember that it's going to go up. Year 1, each school can share up to about $20.5 million with their student athletes. That represents roughly 22% of their revenue. Now, Jeff, how is that the same at New Mexico as Alabama? I don't know. That's the number they came to. More so the 20.5 million as opposed to the 22%. Because 22% at New Mexico State sure as hell ain't the same as 22% at Michigan. It's just not. All right, so it comes from the revenue comes from things like media rights and ticket sales and sponsorships. Okay, you might remember Greg Byrne, elementary school at Comanche Elementary School in Albuquerque, now the athletic director at Alabama, told Congress, quote, "Those are resources and revenues that don't exist." Well, we'll see. Some of the money is going to come via TV rights packages, college football playoff money. Some schools are increasing costs to their fans, your talent fees. Every time you buy a ticket, there's a add-on, a $3 to $5 to $10 add-on for talent fees that go to, or athletic fees that go to tuition costs, go to NIL. All right, so JJ, the last segment, somebody asked about scholarships. I don't want them getting scholarships anymore. They're getting paid now. All right. Scholarships and cost of attendance have always been part of the deal, right? For many, if not most, Division I athletes. And there's value in it. I've always said that they're not being exploited. There is something of value there. If they weren't getting compensated fully or wholly, that's a conversation. The NCAA says its member schools can hand out nearly $4 billion in athletic scholarships every year, but the athletes have long argued that wasn't enough. That didn't compensate them for the millions in revenue that they were producing for the schools. That went to a lot of places, including coaches' salaries and facilities. Student athletes won. They have been getting paid by collectives. JJ, are there any rules right now? And this is where I don't know that I fully understand, and maybe you do better than I. The role of the collective. Will there still be a role for the collective? Can they go beyond the $20.5 million?
Yeah, they have to prove that or act like the athletes are doing something for the NIL deal. So anytime you hear Kurt Roth talk, he always says, our athletes are always available. They're always doing stuff in the public. So he's laying that foundation for the collective. In this, to me, this does nothing to help what's going on in college athletics. It's more money for the athletes, but it does nothing to control the system because the NIL deals are still going to be there, and you can just show up somewhere for an hour, and is the NIL clearinghouse really going to come down hard? Like, you're just opening up more potential legal action. You're not really putting guidelines on anything. It's just revenue directly from the schools to the athletes. NIL is still going to be on top of that to get the extra money to sway certain players to go to different places. It really has helped nothing. And leading up to this being finalized, I know that there's still plenty of coaches going, okay, it just makes it harder, actually.
Well, it's more on their general manager, and it's coming out of this university.
And what you're going to see, too, is I'm sure that collectives will end up even funneling money into the university.
Well, that's probably right. I think that's 100% right. Is $20.5 million going to be enough? Right? Probably not. But under the terms of this settlement now, these third parties, the collectives, are still allowed, JJ, to cut deals with players. I mean, you might call it a workaround. Maybe it is. But it's kind of viewed as the new reality in college sports, right? To land top talent, keep them on your campus. So top quarterbacks are going to get paid, I'm hearing $2 million, but I mean, it's more than that probably. That's 10% of your NIL budget for athletes. $2 million for your whole school, for your whole athletic department.
And that's, the fair question when people say, well, take the scholarships away. Well, who are you taking away from? Because not every athlete's going to get enough money to cover everything.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Especially the non-revenue sports.
The ones that are out there winning championships and stuff, too, they're not going to be making millions of dollars at UNM track and field.
Yeah. All right, so the defendant conferences were the Power Five, the ACC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the SEC, and the Pac-12. Those leagues, and I don't know how the Pac-12 is still involved with this, but they're creating an enforcement arm that's essentially taken over for the NCAA, which is going to be used to police recruiting violations. So they're going to police themselves. They're going to analyze third-party deals worth $600 or more to make sure that they're paying players an appropriate market value for the service provided. And it's called, there's this College Sports Commission, which says it'll be quicker and more efficient than the NCAA. So schools are being asked to sign a contract that says they will abide by the new rules of this new structure, even if that means going against laws passed in their individual state. Again, I just, what are we doing? All right, what about players who played before NIL was allowed? 2.7, 2.8 billion with a B in back pay is going to go to athletes who competed between 2016 and 2024 who were either fully or partially shut out from those payments. The money's going to come from the NCAA and its conferences, but really from the schools who receive lower than normal payouts. So New Mexico is in on this, where they would never have had to pay as much, but now they got to pay back money. Where's the money going? It's going to go to football, basketball. Primary drivers of revenue. That's where it's mostly going to go. Right now, there isn't a Title IX component. So what about swimmers and gymnasts and Olympic sports? Well, the settlement now calls for roster limits. That's going to reduce the numbers of players on all the teams. It'll make all of those players, not just a portion of them, eligible for full scholarships. Figures to have an outsized impact on Olympic sports athlete whose scholarships cost as much as that of a football player, but their sports don't produce revenue. So there's concerns of the pipeline of college talent for Team USA taking a hit. Let's watch it. I mean, a year from now, we'll have a whole new set of problems, right? How do you feel about House now? Now that it's going to come from in and I've got a zillion questions that I'm not sure the answers are, but I just wanted to walk through what it meant, what it means. It starts July 1st is when it takes effect. What does it all mean to college athletics? And I guess we'll see.
More money filtering to the athletes. It doesn't help solve any of the recruiting issues. It doesn't help put any guidelines on deals. It's still wide open, because I think what you're going to see is the collectives at the power conference schools be a even bigger difference maker, because you're saying, all right, here's your base pay from the university plus whatever you get, and that's the market we're in now.
Yeah, I'd like to get Kurt in here and see what's the collective going to do. What's going to be the role? Is it going to be just funneling it, into the university? Because you're still going to like when you say take 20-something% of my budget, or hell, 20.5 million if New Mexico's all in, is a hell of a lot more than 22% of their budget. Where's it coming from, and how's everybody going to like? How do you exist? So it'll be different, man, but that's the way it is, and that's what you've been hearing about it all weekend. Just wanted to get through it a little bit. You can talk about it if you'd like, 505-246-0610. How do you feel about now the student athletes getting paid directly from the university? More money going to the student athlete. Some of you are going to love it, and some of you, it pains you. It's probably going in the right direction. But we'll see what the new unintended byproducts of this become. 505-246-0610. That's how to get here today. Area code 505-246-0610. All right, when we get back, I got a bunch of more NFL stuff for you as we get closer and closer and closer to camps opening up. We can get into the NBA from last night, do some local stuff from over the weekend as well. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. Who watches your home when you're not there? Bad guys are out there looking to destroy what you built. Property crime's on the rise. Officer shortage is an issue. International Protective Service watches my home. IPS patrols my house every single day. And when I'm traveling, like on this last trip, I had a package delivered, and they picked it up. They're bringing it by today. I'll get it, because that way it didn't sit there for a porch pirate to get. They just look out for you. It's affordable private security in an era where, well, you kind of need affordable private security. They install alarms, camera systems. They've got a state-of-the-art facility to monitor those cameras. It all raises the level of security around your home and business. If you want standing guards or need eyes on your property around the clock, they can do that for you as well. So who's watching your home when you're not there? You're going on summer vacation. Who's going to watch it? Call IPS. Have them protect what you have built so hard to build, or worked so hard to build. It's if you wait until you're a victim, it's kind of too late. Call them before. Be proactive. 505-897-2420 is the number. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. International Protective Service, passionate about making Albuquerque a better and safer place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Everguard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with...
But it just kind of proves to you what the draw is, right?
Clayton Clark is Tiger Woods.
Yeah, like if
it's
you need
the
a
ultimate crossover, gets people interested, superstar in the game. But $3 tickets for a WNBA game, just like Major League Baseball. There's certain sports in the regular season it's going to be hard. You're not going to get national traction. But if you're looking in the markets, do people care? That's where those things are built.
I didn't. So throughout the story, and I did not see an attendance on it. Did you?
Probably dropped.
Yeah, but I mean, like, to what? 8,000. That's pretty good for a WNBA game, isn't it? I have no idea what it was. But it just, if you needed any reminder, and Angel Reese has been struggling this year, and boy,
They announced it at 19,496.
19,000?
Yeah.
All right then.
But that was probably tickets out.
Yeah, it was probably tickets out
when
because
they thought Clayton Clark was coming to Chicago.
Correct. Evidently, all the secondary market places, the StubHubs and everything, bought up all those tickets, and then we're just trying to dump them for a cup of coffee for $3. If you
Golden State's popping, that brand new franchise there, they had 18,000 on Saturday.
Yeah, and they're playing in Chase Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look, it's going to work really well in some markets. How do you think the WNBA would do here?
Not as good as you'd think.
Why?
It's a basketball town, but it's low women's basketball.
Yeah, but I still think it would do well. I mean, as good as I think. I don't know what it. We had this conversation a while back.
Where women's sports has gone over the last few years. Like, it's the Lobo women have held steady, but they're not growing.
So, but the WNBA would be on a national scale. So Angel Reese would come in, and Sabrina Ionescu would be here, and whatever. Would they be more popular than United? Because it would be in the same season, right? It'd be a different crowd, I think. But I always argue that this town is yearning for something on the national scale. Now, is that national scale enough? WNBA? Oh, it's on ESPN tonight, or it's on, CBS Sports tonight, or whatever. Certainly when Caitlin Clark comes to town, I get that part. But Breanna Stewart's in town, and the Liberty are here, and would people care? Or would they rather go see United play Lexington FC or whatever? I don't know the answer. I really do. Because I've always thought the WNBA might work here. And again, do I watch it? I don't. But that doesn't mean a lot of people aren't. It's getting a follow. My parallel is Oklahoma City's not a much bigger or more vibrant town than Albuquerque is, right? But they've got an NBA team, and they got an NBA team who's going to win a championship. How do they got more corporate base there. They got a lot more corporate money there. I understand that. There's a lot of oil money there. There's oil money in New Mexico, just not in Albuquerque. Or you think we're not there yet, even for the WNBA?
We're not even close. Where are they playing?
To be able to support it. Would they play in the pit, don't you think?
No.
Why not?
When you got WNBA teams, like the new teams playing in NBA arenas.
Yeah.
And we can't even get NCAA tournament games to the pit, the WNBA is not going to play in the pit.
How would you get your own floor in there? Yeah. All right, just thinking it through. I don't know. 505-246-0610. What else did you guys send me today? I'm not watching this, and I'm not doing that, and dark day for that. And Houston, we have a problem. Jeff, this is from Bourne. They had the little dancers at Popejoy Saturday. And without parking, it was a mess. Desperate drivers taking one-way service roads to the middle of campus hoping to find parking. How many major universities have available parking in the middle of campus, especially during a big event? The bigger issue I realize is now closed lot was also parking for the duck pond, where are folks going to park when the new state-of-the-art duck pond finally opens? Dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you? Bourne, I mean, honestly, parking, going through, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. I guess there's a parking issue at a university. Who'd have thunk it? You go to Popejoy. Do you go to events at Popejoy Hall? Do you ever go there? Great.
I haven't been there in a while.
So they've got the parking structure right there. I almost invariably will park out on Central or a street there, go to dinner, just because I hate unwinding out of a parking structure. It's got nothing to do with, I'm happy to pay for it. Getting out of there is miserable. But I don't know, man. Plan ahead. Like it's an event. It's like anything else. I don't know what you're talking about. Lewis, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Lewis.
Yeah, good morning. I'm out walking my dog.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've heard on the House thing probably 10 different people talk about it over the weekend.
Yeah.
Various, people talking. I still don't understand it.
I know most people don't.
And that's no criticism of you, because I listen to you because I know you're tuned in with the NCAA and college stuff pretty good. But even after everything you explained,
I don't get it either.
I still don't. And I'm sure the people involved in it probably don't really understand it.
Yep.
And the best line, I think you said, I'm not going to quote it exactly, I don't remember it, but the unintended consequences of what's going to happen after it happens. This is going to be crazy for a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And people get all excited about the Lobos getting $20 million. Well, every other school's getting $20 million, so we're still in the same place we've been.
I think what they think is it's going to somehow level the playing field now, and I'm not sure that's right either, because I don't know that I think, and this is where I need to learn more. Is it a hard cap? Like if it was a hard cap, okay, you can only give $20.5 million, everybody across the board from Alabama to Eastern Michigan, but then the collectives come in and there's going to be deals that are going to be done in addition to, and that so it's not really a level playing field the way I get it. See, I got to learn more, and I'm reading and I'm listening, and I just don't totally get it yet either.
And on the WNBA thing, I know you got to go soon here. The WNBA, I don't think a team would do that well here.
You don't?
I think at first, we'd get a little push, and you'll get a few of the games where you got the big stars coming in. I don't know what the expectation would be of attendance. I mean, what do they got to have, at least 10,000? You were comparing to the United. They average either at or a little up or down, I don't know, about 10,000. I don't think the WNBA would do that here.
Yeah,
not consistent. I don't know how many games they have in home games.
I think 18.
Where they have 25. They play about a 50-game schedule.
I think it's like 32, so half of them are
okay,
home.
All right.
16.
They have to play in the pit.
Yeah.
You have no hope at all if you don't play in the pit.
I agree.
And I think JJ says something about, or somebody says something about the NCAA doesn't even come here. The NCAA is ridiculous with the way they stage it. They want everything to be exactly the same in every single arena.
Yep.
And that just doesn't work here, and it's never going to work here, probably. So the WNBA, if they did put a team here, I'm sure they're not going to care about all the stuff the NCAA does, I would think.
Well, yeah, I don't think
they'll ever put a team here, and I don't think it would do that well. You got to get 10,000 people for 30 games.
Well, for about 16, yeah. All right, man. No, appreciate the call.
Man,
don't be a stranger. I just threw it out. It's not like they're coming. I don't even think there's talk about WNBA.
No, but it's not. They wouldn't care about the NCAA stuff. It's the amenities. It's the extra stuff. When you have WNBA teams playing in NBA arenas, and that's the expectation, and locker rooms, etc.
Yep, just spitballing, man. I just threw it out. I just wondered, how would it do here? All right, 505-246-0610. Emails coming in, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Remember Anthony Richardson, the quarterback, high pick, future of the Colts? Let's, where are they going? Because that other guy might be their quarterback. What other guy? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King.
You know, the magazine, what is Athlon? This is just a website, magazine. They cover college sports. They, I guess there were 28 new coaching hires in FBS college football. What is that, about 20%, JJ? 136 teams. 136 times 0.20 is that about that number? Yeah, 20. Yeah, it's about 20%. 27. So 20% of the team. Isn't that crazy? 1 out of every 5. Does that seem like a lot or a little to you? 1 out of every 5 college football teams change coaches. Feels like a lot in any given year, but it's probably just the cycle. Anyway, I'll give you where New Mexico's Jason Eck was ranked in this poll, and we'll go through some of that and what they said about it, and some of the other coaching moves in your league and how they go. I remember when the Colts took Anthony Richardson, and JJ, were you on the Anthony Richardson train? He had like 28 starts in his life, including high school and college, and I think they took him 5th overall out of Florida.
Well, the train was going to be a long ride. You saw, all right, this is a very athletic and explosive player. However, can you mold him into something in the NFL? Because the comp, and it was a stretch, was Josh Allen. You get this really good athlete going in.
Played quarterback.
Oh, so did Anthony Richardson, just not as many times. But the comp was, all right, you have this athlete. Can you mold him into a passer, this or that? And it's few and far between. The Josh Allen story of being like an under 60% passer in college to being an MVP caliber quarterback in the NFL is insane. And you knew it was going to be an uphill battle. And the problem with Anthony Richardson is there's no development because he's never on the field.
So, yeah, I struggle with that comp, to be honest with you, and I always did. Just because I thought Josh Allen had played. He started for 3 years in college. He played a lot of quarterback. Like, you had 28 games that Anthony Richardson had played high school and college. Like, just learning to feel what the game felt like at any level. And he's an unbelievable athlete, and he is. When they didn't teach him is to get down and slide and to avoid getting hit. He's got this shoulder injury, and he's still dealing with it. Shane Steichen announced that he's still out. Shane Steichen's the coach in Indianapolis. It's the AC joint in his right throwing shoulder. Had him all last season. He's out indefinitely. He might be back by minicamp. Where are they, dude? They got a decent roster, and Daniel Jones is going to be their starting quarterback. And you know what? Daniel Jones played a hell of a lot more quarterback in the NFL. And I can make you an argument right now that Daniel Jones gives me a better chance to win in the NFL than Anthony Richardson does.
That's not an argument. That's fact.
I think I don't know that everybody would accept that as fact, but I
The only
believe
people that don't accept that are not every quarterback is a Super Bowl quarterback. Like, to answer your question, what are the Colts going to do? They're trying to survive, right? And remember earlier where Edward called and he's like, well, if you're pinning your hopes on Justin Fields, okay, sometimes that's what's available. And for them, it was, man, can we salvage Anthony Richardson? If not, is there someone that's going to at least allow us to show up and try to be competitive on Sundays? And that's Daniel Jones for that franchise.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that in some respects. So when Anthony Richardson becomes healthy, I don't know if that's week. It could be next week. It could be week 5. Whatever. Is he your guy then? Does it depend on what your record is?
Some of that is true. And here's the thing with the outside narrative, which just kind of throw it away, right? If you don't have the good quarterback, just suck. Well, the problem is you're telling people that, well, they need to benefit the future of the franchise and not try to compete now. And who knows if they're going to get a chance to coach that next.
100%.
And so this is where you're at with a team like the Jets and Justin Fields. Well, they have a first-year coach, so what does it matter? They're trying to be competitive. Or the Colts, realizing that, you know what, you needed another adult in that room, which is Daniel Jones, who won a playoff game, which is nothing to scoff at. And for the Colts, as you said, they're like, all right, you're in a division that you can keep talking yourself into Trevor Lawrence being something, but it's another first-year coach. And the what-ifs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, C.J. Stroud, expect him to bounce back after a little bit of a sophomore slump just because the expectations were so crazy after his rookie season. And then Tennessee with the number 1 overall quarterback. So you are in a division where there's plenty of winnable games, even if Daniel Jones is your quarterback.
I think that's right, and I think that's where you got to go, and I think you almost got to focus now and say Daniel Jones is my guy. I just think that's where this goes. And what is it? You know, 3/4 of the teams have to go to their backup quarterback at some point during the year anyway. And if Anthony Richardson then comes in and excels, how's he going to get better without playing? Look, I don't know, man. Get me through this year. Daniel Jones is my stopgap. If Daniel Jones returns to that form, then he's my guy. And if he doesn't, then I look at Anthony Richardson when he's healthy, or I got to start all over again. But at some point, you got to develop a quarterback when it's this guy. And I mean, I don't know, JJ, is this going to go down as a wasted 5th round pick or 5th overall pick?
Yeah. Yes.
Is he a guy that becomes another position because he's such an amazing athlete? And there's no argument there, right? He's a tremendous athlete. Who did that? Antoine Randall? Like, there's not many guys. Because when a guy comes into quarterback, they want to do that to Lamar Jackson, remember? He was drafted at the bottom of the first round.
That was one talking head former exec.
Is that all it was? I mean, it was a bad idea.
Napoleon, the Colts former exec, was
all
down in ESPN like, Lamar Jackson's not a quarterback. He needs to be a wide receiver. Okay, dude. I get MVP. You had Peyton Manning. But.
Yeah. He's how many time MVP? All right, when we come back, I'm going to get you through some of these the ranks of the new coaches, where Jason Eck, the New Mexico coach, ranks on this particular list. It's just one list, man. But JJ, have you seen it? Don't look at it if you haven't. I want you to guess. We could do that when we get back. Coming up at 9:30, Steve Loy is going to be with us, Eastern New Mexico alum, for whom many of the buildings there are named after, and just amazing career in sports management, going into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame coming up here in a few weeks. And we're going to talk to him at 9:30 this morning. Bourbon lovers, National Bourbon Week is now here, and Twin Peaks is your celebration destination. From June 11th through the 16th, enjoy a selection of rare bourbons, cocktail specials, barrel select pours, all handpicked by the Lodge. Plus, this week is also the U.S. Open. Tees off on the 12th, goes through the 15th, and if you can't make it to the tee box like we can't, Twin Peaks will have you covered with every swing, chip, and putt. Wall-to-wall TVs are set up for you, 29-degree draft beers, all keeps you cool. It's great golf. It's great bourbon. It's the best views in the game, and it's only at Twin Peaks. Meanwhile, the FIFA Club World Cup will kick off June 14th, and Twin Peaks will have you covered there as well with every goal, every match, every rivalry. Pair it with a bucket of Michelob Ultra, some sauce and tossed wings. Kind of a winning combo, isn't it? And Father's Day is Sunday. Treat Dad to a cheeseburger, fries, and a 22-ounce Peak Signature Tap, all for a price that will not break the bank. It's game day, and it's Father's Day, and Twin Peaks has you covered every day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Animal.
All right, 80-something days till college football kicks off. There are 28 new head coaches in FBS football. There's 136 teams. New Mexico is one of those. Jason Eck is the new head coach of the Lobos. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. J.J. Athlon Sports ranked the 28 hires. The number one ranked hire, I don't think this is a surprise, is Rich Rodriguez going back to West Virginia. He left Jacksonville State, goes back, and he's back where kind of he started. He's a West Virginia native. He was 60-26 at West Virginia from 01 to 07. He went to Michigan, and then he went to Arizona, and he's been at Jacksonville State where he's done a great job. But he's won basically everywhere, so that was number one. Out of the 28, do you have an idea where you believe Athlon ranked Jason Eck, the head coach at New Mexico?
Go 11. 11?
They ranked it 14th. So literally square right in the middle, gave it a grade of B+. It says Bronco Mendenhall's departure after a successful debut came as a surprise, but New Mexico should continue its improvement under Eck. The Wisconsin native garnered a wealth of experiences and assisted from a variety of stops, 99 through 2021, including a stint at South Dakota State. Eck guided Idaho to a 26-13 mark with 3 FCS playoff trips from 21 to 23 and picked up an FBS victory over Nevada in 2022. So right square in the middle. Another one that might be of interest would be, Bronco Mendenhall, the Utah State. Where do you think they ranked that one? 2. 2. Yeah, 2. Talked about his one-year stop in New Mexico, and they have it 2. Bill Belichick is 3, so they had Bronco Mendenhall as a better hire than Bill Belichick. Barry Odom leaving UNLV, where he had great success and went to Purdue, and he's a coach now, man. He's number 4, and Dan Mullen going to UNLV is number 5. Those are all pretty solid, right?
Not too bad at all.
Other stuff of interest might be Matt Entz, Fresno State, number 9. So 2 other Mountain West coaches in front of Jason Eck at number 5 and number 9. Scott Frost going back to UCF was number 10. In the Conference USA, the Aggies League, Zach Kitley going to Florida Atlantic. Florida International would be in their league. Willie Simmons, number 13, Florida International. So, yeah, just some stuff that of interest. Washington State's Jimmy Rogers was 17th. This is below where Jason Eck is. Eddie George, the former Ohio State star, NFL star, going to Bowling Green, was 18th. Kennesaw State is in there. So, I mean, it's just there's a number of Sam Houston got a new coach, and Phil Longo, who I met. And this one really surprised me. I mean, 28 out of 28 was Charles Kelly at Jacksonville State, who I think is going to do really well there. Give him a C-. So 14th is, I think that's respect, considering where New Mexico's been and X somewhat of an unknown to a lot of people, right there in the middle.
Yeah, nationally, there's a pretty good buzz for Coach Eck.
I agree with that.
And a respect for what he could build.
look, I've met a lot of people over the last couple of months, and people ask me all the time, what do you think of Eck? And the respect is there, certainly for the person, but really for the coach as well and what he's done. And look, I don't know what kind of roster it is. We all have eyes. We looked at a roster full of names and places, and we'll see how they coach them up. But there is a little bit of respect there. All right, actually a good amount of respect. I say a little bit. That's not fair. 505-246-0610. Steve Loy is going to be with us coming up at 9:30. The former Eastern New Mexico star went on to a great career in sports management. Phil Mickelson's manager. And is going into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. That'll be at 9:30. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I've ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
The Sports Animal. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, the morning after the series gets tied, Thunder beat the Pacers 123-107. How you feeling about that? Is this now going to go the way you thought it was? Maybe. Hockey back at it tonight. College baseball's World Series is going to go to Omaha this week. We got a lot going on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Locally over the weekend, New Mexico United 1-1 tie, or draw if you prefer, with Colorado Springs. JJ out at the ball pitch. An own goal for New Mexico that was Colorado Springs' only tally, and a draw in a match where they felt that, and it tends to be when they don't get the result, they always feel like they should have, but certainly one in which it felt like they dominated play.
When you're a first-place team,
yep,
you should feel like you should win 3 points at home. So I have nothing wrong with that mentality, and especially when you look at it and say a mistake is why that game ended in a tie.
Yep.
That's sport.
So they'll be back on the road this week and then come home for 3 in a row. So you can get into any of that if you were out there. The football's getting closer. If you watched Carlos Alcaraz come back from 2 sets down to win a 5.5-hour French Open final, you can get in on that. Rockies get swept over the weekend at home. They are now 12-53. I mean, you had a glimmer of hope there for a minute. You had a 3-game win streak. You swept the series. Too bad you can't schedule the Marlins
Back
every
to
night.
reality.
Yeah, that's what that was. All right, you're in this morning, 505-246-0610. The email's Jeff at sportsanimal.abq.com. Look, I didn't say there was any conversation about the WNBA coming here. There isn't. I just asked a weird question, like how would the WNBA do here? I always thought
a very interesting question in a league that is still looking to expand its footprint.
Yeah, and would this be a good WNBA market? I don't know. Mike says, where's the WNBA going to play, Jeff? Tingley? Folks aren't driving to Santa Ana Star. Look, it would be the Pit, and they're not coming. I just threw it out there. This isn't really worth a long conversation of logistics of where it was more, would this town support it? That's all. Harold says, let me help you out, Jeff. This impacts volleyball too. We're talking about the House settlement that went down. And what it's going to do for college athletics. Last winter, someone with Bleep for Brains decided to... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this parking email that whoever sent me. Last winter, someone with Bleep for Brains decided to close the main parking lot for Popejoy, the Johnson Fields, and the Duck Pond, and put a new fine arts building there. As a result, when Lobo Volleyball plays their first friendly in August, fans who have been parking in the same place for decades are in for a rude awakening. The solution offered by the university was to park in another lot a mile away and shuttle, which most aren't going to bother with. They're hurting the program. It's from Harold. All right. I guess there's a big parking issue in the middle of campus now. College campus with a parking issue. Who knew? But I guess they were fine. So they closed, whatever. Okay. Sorry. This one says the WNBA, where are all the events, Jeffy? The WNBA would be great. Weren't those the things we were promised going into the $60 million University Arena redo? The problem is how long before we hear Bradbury or Patino cry we wanted to hold a summer basketball camp, but we couldn't even use our own facility. Wow. It's not how... I just threw it out.
Can't even ask a question, Jeff.
I just asked, man, would it work here? That's all. That's all. I mean, would they cry? You'd work around all that stuff. You'd schedule all around it. If, in fact, you could have that opportunity. Gopher says United never lose, Jeffy. In the updated thingy Saturday night, it said United got harder in point in table in front of another crowd of almost 10K. I know. They didn't lose. They drew. It was a 1-1 tie, draw. Pick your turn. I don't care. And yes, typically when it's around 10,000, that's always in the headline from the team. Yes, I understand it. Because how many teams in this league are getting about 10,000? Very few, right?
It's a couple.
Yeah. So yes, it's always that, especially when they don't win. It's in the headline. All right, stuff you may want to watch. Nick Chubb expected to sign today with the Houston Texans. Put that on your. I know. Just if you got Joe Mixon as a keeper, keep that in mind. What does that do if in fact that goes down? It sounds like it's going to. Does it highly devalue Joe Mixon or just slightly devalue? Slightly, right? Fantasy football wide?
I would guess Joe Mixon's touchdown total might come down just a bit, but you're still talking about a 29-year-old running back that suffered 2 major knee injuries in his career.
Yeah.
Coming in and he's signing as an RB2.
Yes. Yeah. Just because he's got the name and you remember what he was 3 years ago doesn't mean that's who the guy's going to be now. Buffalo's running back, James Cook, who was terrific last year, right? Terrific. Did not go to OTAs. He might not attend mandatory minicamp. He's got an ongoing contract dispute. Adam Schefter reported that he's unhappy with his situation and has, the word is, disconnected himself from the team and the city of Buffalo. In fact, Cook didn't even put his home on the market in Buffalo. Schefter said, I don't think we'll see him in Buffalo anytime soon. Again, the starting camp will be the next critical moment. If they don't have a deal done by then, does he show up or does he risk the penalties that go along with not showing up? Led the team with over 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns rushing last season. One of Josh Allen's big weapons. The touchdowns matched Derrick Henry and Jahmyr Gibbs for the top in that category in touchdowns. He was their featured option on third down. He was a good pass-catching threat. 32 catches, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns. Word is they're not anywhere close on a new deal. Cook was on a podcast relatively recently saying, I want what I deserve. And on Instagram, he said he wants $15 million a season. Quote, I just feel like we're deserving of it. Like, why not? We work all our life to get paid. Feed me the big bucks. I want to go chase the highest of highest, and I'm going to keep doing it. End quote. The team continues to say he's important. Their general manager is Brandon Beane. Quote, James is a good player for us. He has the ability to be a mismatch player. He can play all 3 downs. He helped our offense do a lot of great things, blah, blah, blah. We'd love to keep him here. The blah, blah, blah was thrown in.
That would be a fun quote right there.
It would, absolutely. He's a $15 million back. I guess, well, is he? That's top of the market, right? $15 million is about top of the market.
So average salary per year.
Yeah, for running back.
Barkley cashed in. He's got $20 million per year.
Different cat.
Then you got Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Who is why everyone's scared to pay running back.
Yep. What's he at?
He's at 19.
Okay.
Derrick Henry.
Yep, just signed.
Is at 15.
Yep.
Then it goes Taylor 14, Kamara 12, Jacobs 12.
So where do you think James Cook fits? 12, 13?
I think James Cook asking for $15 million a year is absolutely fair market value for him, and push in, a high guarantee 25+ million at signing. Probably what he's pushing for. And then if you're Buffalo, do you buy into the fact that, hey, running backs matter again? Or are you going to say, hey, we have Josh Allen, we can make the run game work with anyone?
Who else is on that roster? Because James Cook was a difference maker last year. And if you start saying, all right, are you going to get it done with Ray Davis? Ray Davis was nice when he had to fill in. I don't know Ty Johnson or Darrington Evans. They're going to pay him, and it's going to be somewhere about $15 million. And we're going to do this dance, and it's going to be somewhere mid-camp. And James Cook's going to come to town.
He is worth it for that offer.
I believe that's right. Now, I don't know what their cap situation is and where they are money-wise. From what I understand, they're not in a great spot. But they'll find a way to make that work. Okay, 9:30 this morning, coming up here in about 19 minutes. Steve Lloyd is going to be with us, the former Eastern New Mexico football star, one of the most successful sports agents really in the history of that business. He's going into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. He's going to be with us coming up at 9:30 this morning. I think you'll really enjoy that conversation. It's the opening drive. He's J.J. Buck. I'm Jeff Symbieta on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You're listening to the Jim Rome Show.
Quoting me, Jim Rome said,
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch Mexico's best.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading.
Legends are made.
All right, what happened last night? It was Oklahoma City imposing their will. They're better than Indiana, I think. Indiana's nice. Don't get me wrong. Indiana's nice. But after getting beaten game 1 and they felt they gave it away, it was Indiana who kind of was up against something last night. It was the Oklahoma City Thunder last night who were winners, 123-107. All right, we didn't get into this, JJ. Over the weekend, or maybe it was Friday, Tomeo Pons, 6'8" guard from France, announced on his Instagram that he is committed to playing for the Lobos. You got a pretty diverse roster that's put together by the University of New Mexico. And Eric Olin has put together a roster that is there. What is it? Are we full yet?
14 players?
7. So are we at 14? So we're almost about done, right? Maybe one more spot. And I know I got the email earlier. Where are they coming from? And there's too many players. And how are you going to keep everybody happy? You're not. But you're filling out a roster and you're making it as competitive and as good as you can. You got a young man from France, just outside of Paris, who led his U21 team in scoring at almost 15 points a game and 6.2 rebounding. He'll be 19 in July. He's one of 17 players invited to try out for the French U19 national team, which will compete in the U19 FIBA World Cup. 14th player now to accept a scholarship. 5 first-time collegiate players. Another European, right? You got Tomislav Buljan from Croatia. I'm interested, man. I was talking to some people that live in San Diego this week and a bunch of SoCals. Because they love what the Aztecs are. They love that Elijah Sanders is back. They got Bird back. They got Guath back. Like San Diego State's should be really nice, right?
Preseason favorites.
They should be. I mean,
yes.
with Guath back, with Bird back, and then getting Elijah Sanders healthy, they should be really good. And then they of course, hit the portal as well. But I was talking about Eric Olin. Everybody seems to really like Eric Olin. Are you big? Not overly big. You got a 7'1", 6'9", 6'9" front, maybe 7'8". What, who starts? Assuming JT Rock's your starting center, Chol starts, and so you'll probably go 7'1", 6'9", 6'6" across the front. Chris Howell's probably your 3.
Yeah, I'm interested. I think both of us are fascinated by Luke Haupt. And does he start as a 2?
Does he start at all?
Is he the backup point guard, and then you end up getting a lot of Aubrey Hot playing together anyway?
I can see them playing together, right?
I could see a lot of that. Then how?
And then where do the Pattons fit in?
At the 3, and then a lot of versatility, really 2 through 4, size-wise. And I think it's going to be fascinating to watch when workouts start and camp and the times we get a chance to see this team. I think the starting center position's up in the air.
I know you do.
If you got a pro
right.
coming, a 22-year-old man from Croatia
in
that was
Bullion, right?
Playing professional basketball, and if he gets cleared by the NCAA.
Has that not happened yet?
That has not happened yet.
So that's the Tomislav Buljan or Buljan.
I think Buljan.
I think it's Buljan.
Would be the starting 5.
Okay. I got no problem with it.
And then all of a sudden, all right, you're backup 5 is 7'1" center with a ceiling to grow into.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Transfer from Iowa State. So you got a lot of California kids, right? Transfer from 2 from USC, a couple from UC San Diego, 1 from Point Loma Nazarene, which is in Point Loma, San Diego. You got 1 Power 5 transfer, 1 Mountain West transfer. 5 guys playing their first bit of college basketball and a couple of Europeans, which overlap with the first bit of college basketball. And you got the Summit League player of the 6th man of the year from North Dakota State to Javis Miller. I'm interested, man. Like you've got my attention in how this roster was constructed. I can't sit here and tell you I think they're the favorites, because I just don't know, but I don't think they stink. I've seen the guys San Diego State has coming back, and so they're going to, I mean, I know Bird is good. I know Guath is really good. I know Elijah Sanders was really good before he got hurt. So they're going to be pretty
Yeah,
nice.
San Diego State should be the favorites. Boise State, I'm expecting them to be competitive, potentially
They
a
got
top
some
3
nice
team.
transfers too. Yeah.
Just the continuity. When you have 100% roster turnover
like this, Vegas is going to be similar to that too.
The expectations drop a little bit. Now, I know I've had discussions with people saying, no, the expectation is that UNM are championship. Yes, but when you're talking about this team, my view of, all right, here's a team on paper, excited to actually watch some practice just to see what these dudes look like in person, opposed from just, the edited highlight tapes that you get from a lot of these guys. I still, though, think fair for them is expecting them to be a top 5 team.
Well, top 5 of the Mountain West?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For 100% turnover, your coaching staff and your roster to not have to play on Wednesday at the Mountain West tournament.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's fair. I'm looking at UNLV, and I'm really interested in what they did too, right? Because they had to completely redo their roster with Josh Pastner coming in. Their transfers, and I don't know that this matters because let me watch them. They got a lot of 6'8". I mean, their roster, as I look at it, a lot of 6'8", 6'7". There's one 7-footer from Arizona. But it's very similar. I got a transfer from UC Irvine and a transfer from High Point, Louisiana Tech, right? But I also got, and UTRGV, but I also got Illinois, Iowa, and Arizona. They're another one, dude. Like I want to see what they are, because I know the people there are super excited about what Josh Pastner brought in. And another completely restructured roster. Now, I know every year UNLV is super athletic, super bouncy, beat people maybe that you don't think they're going to beat and lose games that you're like, how the hell did they lose that game, right? It's who they are, and that's why they're in the situation where they just completely turned it over again. But I don't know, JJ. Like, what's Colorado State going to be? Colorado State won a game in the NCAA tournament last year, completely turned it over. Changed coaches. Ali Farokhmanesh is the new head coach. He was the assistant there. Yeah, but I look at it, man. I'm excited. I want to see Luke Hopp play. I want to see how his game transfers from Point Loma Nazarene to this level. I'm really interested in seeing Tajavis Miller, the guy from North Dakota State, play. I want to see Chris Howell on a regular basis at this level. I want to see the Patton brothers, the transfers from USC, Kalai and Kevin, how they play. And then I'm interested in like, Vicentich is going to play. He's a grad transfer from UC San Diego at 6'7". Like, he didn't come here as a grad transfer to sit on a bench.
Not at all.
You're going to see that guy play minutes. So you can make a case for probably 10 of these guys to get decent minutes. But I'm interested. I think it's an interesting construct, and I'm really, really interested to see where it goes and how it plays out. So, and there's probably going to be one more ad. And summer workouts will start here pretty soon, right? Then maybe we'll get a look at it, and we'll have no idea still.
Yeah. It's one, though, there is a difference when you finally get to see players in person, just the little things about how they're functioning in the system, hands, footwork, explosiveness. Get a little bit of an idea.
All right, 505-246-0610. When we come back, I'm looking forward to this conversation. Steve Loy is going to be with us. He is Eastern New Mexico alum, who the stadium, the arena named after him and his family now, but went on to just a magnificent career as one of the most successful sports agents in the history of that business. Going into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame coming up on June 29th in a couple of weeks from now. Going to have a conversation and meet Steve Loy. That is next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We
would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with...
Like 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 29. It's 3 weeks. Yesterday would have been the 8th, so 21 and 8. Yeah, 3 weeks. I better go get a tux, dude. I got to go deal with that. The New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame induction banquet is going to happen. And terrific class is always going in to the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. On Thursday of last week, we had a conversation with Michael Sinclair, the former Eastern New Mexico football star who played 11 years in the National Football League, most notably with Seattle. He was with us. He's going in. And Steve Loy's going in to the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, too. And Steve, pretty amazing story. Steve was a star football player and played golf at Eastern back in the 70s. And went on and was a golf coach at a number of places. He took up golf coaching at Scottsdale Community College and went to University of Arkansas, was the head golf coach at Arizona State from 1987 to 92. In fact, in 1990, when Steve Loy was the head golf coach there, the Sun Devils were the NCAA champions. Men's and women's team were the only teams to win national championships together in the same year. Dual team was the only time it's been accomplished in the history of the NCAA, which was under Steve Loy. In 1992, Arizona State was the NCAA national runner-up. That was at the UNM North Golf Course. Phil Nicholson was the national champion then, but Steve Loy was the head coach of that. Coming up on the 29th, Steve Loy will be going into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Steve Loy joins us this morning on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
Good morning.
Congratulations on the honor. You've got so many honors and been honored in so many different places by so many people. Going to the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame as a guy who grew up in New Mexico, what's that mean to you?
Oh, it's very flattering. It brings everything back to home base where I grew up and all the friends that I still continue to have that are still alive and with us. I'm getting a little older now, so I got to think of that twice. But New Mexico's been very, very important to my lifestyle.
Well, I want people to understand how important it's been and what it's meant. Back in 2024, and I say back, it's like it was so long ago, you and your family made a donation to Eastern New Mexico University, your alma mater, the stadium and arena now named after you and your family. Why was it important for you to donate a significant amount of money back to Eastern to help them? And I know you didn't do it to have your name put on there. You did it to help your alma mater. But why was that so important to you?
Well, it goes back to my family. I was one of 7 other siblings in a family with a father that was a second-grade educated orphan. And, I've never forgotten that. We didn't seem to ever think we didn't have anything, but obviously looking backwards, my father and mother worked all their lives just to provide for us. So I had the opportunity as well to go to Eastern New Mexico University because I didn't have many options at that point. And I also got to play golf and football, which I played in high school. So when I went there for a homecoming just to celebrate a 50-year reunion, if you can believe that, I realized how much it had been to me and how blessed I've been to have, I say I, meaning our family, has been blessed to have all the grace and gratitude we've been given. So it was an appropriate thing to do, and I encourage everybody to do it, especially our baby boomers who are really beginning to transition a lot of wealth.
Yeah. Steve, amongst your honors, you've been named a number of times amongst the world's most powerful sports agents by Forbes magazine. And I don't know if you planned on going to that. You were coaching at Arizona State, and you were head golf coach, won a national championship. The young golfer named Phil Mickelson was there, and obviously you and Phil have had a relationship over the last 35, I guess that's now coming up on close to 40 years, 35 years. But you managed Phil's career amongst others and started your own agencies. How did you make the transition? What made you decide that you know what, I'm going to get out of coaching? I'm going to go into sports management, and obviously the relationship that you've had with Phil, his career has grown exponentially in large part because of your direction.
Well, I'll say it first. I was blessed to coach many great athletes, and candidly, when it came time for them to turn pro, I was very protective of the agent because I saw a lot of leverage being taken. And so many of the families would include me in all the interviews and then the vetting. And so when it came time for Phil, we interviewed about 8 agencies, mom and dad, I, his attorney, his to-be wealth manager, and his coach. And, for every one of the agencies, there was something good that we all felt like, but it just didn't fit. And so the family, after the 8th interview, which was right before the 1992 National Championship at UNM South, said, "Hey, would you manage Phil's business?" And I said, No. I despise agents, and I, candidly, I want to make sure I can protect him all the way through it. So, okay, well, think about it. And in the meantime, we want to have Phil's dad and you as a celebration trip to go to the Scottish Open and the British Open this summer. Would you go? I said, of course I would. I'd love to. So, and I recommended an agency out of Dallas that he signed with. He did. And little did I know they were already working behind the scene trying to figure out how to make an offer to me. So come July 11th, after everything had passed, we were at the British Open, and the owner of that company said, Coach, whatever it's going to take, we're going to hire you. And I said, well, that's a big statement. I feel like we have another national championship team coming up for the next 2 years, and I'm really not interested. Well, by the time I get home on the airplane with Phil, he has convinced me to do it. So July 11th, I resigned ASU, and that's how it all started. But I always despised agents and never liked the way most of them did their business and never intended to be one.
Yeah, you spent a career doing it. He's Steve Loy with us on the Sports Animal. Were you part of the decision and part of the deal to go to Live when Phil went to Live?
Well, I was an advisor to the situation, and remember, Phil was 51 years old at that point. Most players are already playing the Champions Tour. He played in 4 Champions Tour events and won 3 of them, and said, Coach, this is not going to work. And I said, well, what do you think? And he says, I'm just very angst with the policies and procedures that have been going on with the PGA Tour. I want to talk to Liv. Well, I didn't think much of it, but by the time he won the PGA in 2021, which is before this, he had already had lots of contact from the 2 big proprietors for Liv, although it wasn't really formalized at that point. And so his attorney and him actually started the process, and when I saw how screwed up the negotiation was going, that is when I intervened. And, after seeing all the opportunities we were able to get for Phil, he made a great choice. And then a year later, here comes John Rahm, who's also my client. And I did discourage him from meeting with them because I knew that they were willing to pay pretty much anything, which was what happened. Yeah. And John Rahm's probably the highest paid professional athlete in all sports today, but it wasn't something that was intended. It was the right thing to do for the client.
Yeah, and Phil finished 4th this week in the Live tournament. Steve Loy's with us, going into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, former Eastern New Mexico star, and one of the biggest agents in the history of the business, with us on the Sports Animal.
Well, Steve, this all started for you, the path, as a young athlete, then you transitioned to coaching, which then leads you, of course, to the agent work. But when you were making that change to coaching, what drew you to want to give back and then work with young athletes and become a coach and get into that grind?
Well, I'll start with, I played high school and college football and golf. Football was always my fantasy and vision. I was really wanting to be a college and hopefully someday a pro football coach. But I made a commitment to my family, knowing how college and pro is very difficult on those coaching professions, that if I wasn't a head coach in a Division I school by age 30, I would go back into business, which I was also educated to be. So age 30 comes, interesting enough, we won a couple of junior college championships, but we also won back-to-back national golf championships, including a record today, 31 straight tournaments in a row over a 3-year period. And sure enough, the legend Frank Broyles at Arkansas calls me and says, hey, I want you to come to Vegas. I want you to meet a couple people. And I'm thinking, okay, we just won the national championship. That's flattering. Little did I know Buddy Ball, who was the basketball coach at Eastern at the time, was now the recruiting coordinator for Lou Holtz. Sure enough, by the time I got to Arkansas, I was wrapped and loving the University of Arkansas. And here we go. I'm now a golf coach and assistant AD, and then Arizona State calling. I came back to Arizona, and, the mission continued. But when Phil turned pro, I was age 40. I had a couple of very young teenage daughters and thinking about, how am I going to make a living to put them through college? And so that's a probably why I made the decision. But I always loved, and to this day still am called coach by my family 33 years later, by my friends, by my clients, by my employees. And that's the most flattering thing in life I think I can have.
Steve, somebody told me a story. You were young, 12, 13, 14 years old. You went hiking and up in the Sandias or sledding. Got caught in a snowstorm and I guess frostbite, and there was talk about amputating a leg or a foot, and I guess you lost at that point, right? Amputated some toes on your right foot, and continued to fight through it. And I'd love you to tell a little bit of that story and how you battled through. And I'm going to guess the emotional, the mental part of battling through something like that and still continuing to be an athlete was probably quite fierce for a young 13-year-old.
Well, at 13, I was already knee-deep in baseball and thinking I was going to be a football player and probably thinking I was invincible. And my brother and his girlfriend, to-be wife sooner, and his to-be brother-in-law were up tobogganing at Sandia Peak, and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on December 22nd, 1965, I'll never forget, his brother-in-law and I decided to hike down the La Luz Trail. Unfortunately, got to start being dark, and instead of going directly west, which is a 4-hour hike, which we had done, the snow was coming down, we lost the trail, and we ended up going 32 miles in 28 hours directly north, which everybody was looking west, and came out to a little ranch in Placitas. And thank God we found them, because they wouldn't have found us. Immediately rushed us to the hospital. He lost a leg. I lost toes on both feet. And I spent 8 months in the hospital when I was 13, thinking, as the doctors told me, I may be lucky to walk again, not losing a leg, but you know, don't be too excited about playing athletics. Well, that was the green light for me. And that's kind of the way I've always been. You know, you tell me something you can't, and there's got to be a way you can. And so I wasn't very talented, to be honest with you, all the way through, but I was relentless and passionate about everything we did. And it was probably a lesson in disguise, but unfortunately at the time it was a disaster. So I look back on that situation, and it was probably the turning point in my life.
Pretty amazing story. I mean, a lot of people go the other way there. You saw it as the green light. All right. Your business today, it is changed. When I say your business, those just joining us, Steve Loy has been named one of the most powerful sports agents in the business many times by Forbes magazine. You start back in 1992 as Phil Mickelson's agent. You've got John Rahm. You've got a number of athletes. To say how much has the business changed isn't fair. What would be the biggest changes in the business that you've seen over this last 35 years?
Well, I think obviously Tiger Woods changed the industry in golf, but you know, these major contracts for all sports and the free agency business, and then now it's the P&E investments for equity in all professional organizations. I see today where, you know, there's a P&E going into an investment in college, university athletic NIL programs, literally providing equity to invest in these NIL programs now that the courts have approved it. So my answer to you is simply, it used to be if we could help them build their business, they would come. And I quickly, after I started being an agent, within 8 months, because I'd coached for 20 years, I had Hal Sutton, Billy Mayfair, Howard Twitty, Tom Pertzer, Robert Gomez, and Phil Mickelson within months, because they knew as a coach I was pretty successful, and I was already an entrepreneur. I own a golf course, and I'd always been focused in business. So I was lucky. Most agents don't happen that fast. And then from there, now it's 30 years later, we are the largest golf agency in the world in 41 countries, 5 continents. And, you know, I've been blessed again to be able to attract and service some of the best golfers in the world. But before 2010, when I actually sold my company the first time, we had an outstanding baseball agency and a football agency. Some of our baseball guys were guys that you'd know, like Tom Glavine, Luis Gonzalez, Chris Benson, David Wells. I could go on. But, most agents usually think they're better than the company and move on. And when I sold the company, I allowed my agents to do that. So, I'm a kind of a rare breed. I always stayed with we've had our company bought and sold 3 times, and now Sport 5 is the largest. And, I run the company golf globally, but I also run the entire U.S. business, which includes soccer, esports, consulting, commercial sales, digital, experiential,
there's the difference.
Which is media. Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Yeah. Lastly, and we got about a minute left, but what would be the biggest misconception of Phil Mickelson? And some people love him, some people don't. I know over the last couple of years he said things, certainly as the Live PGA thing got intense. And gosh, with the U.S. Open this week, there he was finishing 4th this last week at Live. But what's the biggest misconception about Phil that maybe people need to know?
Well, he's really the guy we all thought he was. I will tell you, like most professional athletes, with that much money, with that much fame, unfortunately, we all have a vice. And then finally, where we think it's not going to affect us, we get on the wrong track. And Phil was one of those, his vice of gambling. I didn't know as serious as it was. And obviously he had a lot of money, so it didn't affect his family as much as most. But it also created a lot of angst with how he had seen things done in professional golf. And it all came to a boiling point, and, bing, it went off. So I can tell you today he's got a lot more humility. He's 55 years old this month. And I know if he looks back, he would have changed a few things the way he did it. But I love him like a son to this day, and I will stand by him till I die, just like most of my other clients.
Yeah. Steve, really appreciate the conversation. It was great seeing you at the Isleta New Mexico Bowl last year. Looking forward to seeing you here in 3 weeks as we induct you into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. Love the conversation and look forward to picking it up in person here in a few weeks when we see you. Thanks for the time.
Awesome, Jeff, and I can't wait to see y'all.
All right, be well, and congratulations on all the success.
Okay, appreciate it. Bye.
I'll see you soon. He's Steve Loy. How was that?
That was fascinating.
The opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
AM 610, the sports animal.
Ate up a lot of time with that. John said, Jeff, JJ, man, I could listen to Steve all day with his stories and insight. That was so good. Thanks for that awesome interview. Ralph said, who was that? What an interesting story. Who else is going to the Hall of Fame? Give you the whole list. Jeffrey, I know you want to get in on this. Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So I'll be concise. So you were talking in an earlier segment about viewing habits in terms of sports. So I only watched one sports venue this weekend. That was the spectacular French Open men's single final. Yeah. 5 sets.
5.5 hours.
It was just 5.5 hours of just unbelievable tennis, such that Sinner was up 2 sets to love, and Alcaraz comes back in an epic, comeback story, winning 3 sets in a row. There were a couple of tiebreakers. Even though I'm a Djokovic fan, he was in the Final Four. This was akin to McEnroe, Borg, 1980-81 in the annals and the pantheon of tennis. It was just spectacular sports viewing. Yesterday at the French Open.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We talked about it earlier. I knew you watched it. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right.
I don't know how we top some of these. I thought Michael Sinclair was great last week. Steve Loy was terrific. We'll introduce you to some more of the people. If you want to get tickets to the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, go to their website, nmshof.org. The banquet's coming up on the 29th. I'll be emceeing that. It'll be at the convention center right across the street here. But come on out. It's Alana Nichols is going in, Fred Young, the former New Mexico State football star, Michael Sinclair, Roy Cooper, and Steve Loy. And it'll be a great night. Thank you to Steve Loy for spending some time with us. JJ, that was just as good as there gets in what he does. Like, that guy is the best in the world at what he does. Spent some time with us today and really appreciate that. Jim Rome Show will follow the Herd and Colin Cowherd's next. Jim Rome Show follows that. 2 Men On's in at 4. We're back with award-winning radio. We will start tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Adrian, great stuff. Looks great. Always does. Thank you. He is JJ Buck. I'm merely Jeff Symbieta. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area.